Hello everybody and welcome back to the next episode in our Let's Play Minecraft series. So last episode we built this super cute little fisherman's hut behind us, and we built this little like mini tunnel. It's not like super wide, but it's cute. I absolutely am obsessed with this build, with the little tunnel leading up to our base and our fisherman's hut. That I am super duper obsessed with the inside of. It's probably one of my favorite buildings that I've done. And of course now we have our little axolotls and enclosure somewhere in there. There they are. And decorated up the boat entrance, which was the biggest inspiration for wanting to settle on this side of the island. I really like the idea of setting up a little spot to row in your boat and then having a fisherman's hut to welcome you before you head up to our base. So I am really proud with the progress that we made last episode, and I feel like our little side of this island is really starting to grow. So I'm going to sleep real quick before I start giving you guys updates on what this episode is going to be about. So if you guys remember, one of the things that I've been talking about throughout this whole series was that what I really wanted to do was for this little cove area that we found, I wanted this one half, this section, to kind of be our base, to kind of be our area with our animals and our greenhouse, our portal, things like that. And then just over here behind us, and if you kind of curve over to the side a little bit, is where I was wanting to put a custom village and bring over some villagers and build them their own village with their own homes, their own blacksmith house, things like that. And that is kind of what we're going to start working towards. Now, we're not going to be working on the actual village per se today, but we are going to be working on kind of like merging up the two sections. Sorry for the cut there. I had hiccups. So today we aren't actually going to be starting on the village, but we are going to start working on merging the two halves of this little cove, of this little island together. And I am so excited for the build that I have planned to kind of be like a gateway in between the two. So what I want to do, and this is an idea that I got from online, I don't know who the original creator is, I'm so sorry, but I want to put a giant like fallen tree trunk as kind of like a little, almost like a hallway or a tunnel, I guess, kind of in between the two. And I think that would be so much fun, as kind of like a fun way to merge our build over with the village. Now, as how big this is going to be or how much space it's going to take up, I don't know. I haven't really planned it out in creative or anything like that. So this is going to just be solely trial and error here on our world, instead of doing you know, kind of figuring it out in a creative world beforehand. So this is going to be quite interesting. I was kind of like eyeballing this section, but I don't know that I want it to be directly behind the pond. And I kind of like how like the path from the base comes over this way and leaves the pond there. So I was thinking about maybe terraforming out this spot. So if I go into FreeCam, let me kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So here is our lovely little base, and over here in this part of the cove is where I was wanting to put the village. So what I'm thinking about is maybe terraforming out quite a bit of these trees and this little bit of a hill, and put the tree trunk somewhere around here, so that if you were heading from the base, you would kind of come past the nether portal and up through here, maybe turn a little bit, come through the tree trunk, and then you could come spit it out over here. Now, it doesn't need to be at the start of the village, because the start of the village is probably going to be touching the water. So we might push it back a little bit further. I'm not really sure how big this is going to turn out to be, but it could push you out to like maybe the edge or the side or even the back of the village. But that's kind of what I was planning, is having our stuff there, and then maybe the tree trunk here, and then the village over in this direction. Now, I still might put through something over here on the side just to kind of give it a nice little like wraparound, but I probably won't do any big builds on whatever side of the tree trunk that we put. Maybe something small like our dandelions that we had placed a few episodes ago, just kind of something like that to kind of give it, you know, a little bit of a something to kind of like wrap it all up together. So that being said, like I said, I have absolutely no idea how big this is going to be or how many materials I'm going to need. I probably don't have enough. You guys know me. I never do. So yeah, bear with me. This is going to be a little bit of a trial and error. I think first things first, let's go ahead and work on terraforming. Now, I emptied out my inventory whenever I last finished off the fisherman's hut, and I haven't gone through and got everything. So I'm going to go grab the stuff that we use for our typical little setup, like a bed and a crafting table, things like that. And then we will start terraforming. I'm probably going to put that into a little bit of a time lapse, just kind of from my perspective. And then once we get started on the build, I'll see if I can kind of like plan out the circle shape, and then we will probably throw that into a big time lapse, since I'm expecting me to need to tear it down and redo it a ton of times. So that being said, let's go ahead and go grab our stuff so we can get started. Okay, so I've got everything that I need so that we can start terraforming, and I grabbed some extra chests so we have somewhere to dump all of the extra wood and dirt. I haven't gotten any of the wood necessary needed for the base, which I think I want to do it out of spruce wood, but I haven't brought that over yet. That's something that we'll go grab whenever that time comes. That being said, let's go ahead and throw this terraforming into a quick time lapse, and then we can get started on our build for this episode. Alrighty guys, I have terraformed out most of this area. I know that this is not the final result, so don't worry. I'm definitely, once we get the log put down, I'll definitely like terraform out some section behind it, so that way we can put a nice little path going over to the village, or maybe some stairs, I guess, since that is pretty tall, and it seems like the rest of the like ground around this area tends to stay pretty tall. I'm not too sure like how the village is going to be built, if I want to try to keep it on this like lower level or bring it up, or what I'm going to do. So that is a problem for future Chen to figure out, of how I want to kind of bring out the path after you go through the log. So the idea is to like run through the log and then have a pathway just like we have for the rest of our build so far, to kind of like lead over to the village. If that includes stairs or not, we'll figure that out at a later date. So this little like wall here is definitely not final. I might end up, you know, expanding some more out that way. I just kind of put down some dirt blocks as kind of a rough idea of how wide I think it's gonna be. But honestly, I don't really know how wide it's going to be. So as we get going on this build, I might have to do more terraforming. So I'm sorry if the time lapse of this build isn't going to be the prettiest thing. But that being said, let's go ahead and start seeing if we can't map it out together, and then I can put it into a time lapse. Now, give me just a second. Okay, sorry for the cut there. I wanted to pull up a like circle chart thing to kind of help me make sure that I'm getting this circular. So what I think I'm gonna do to start is I want to, with you guys at least, map out like the circle shape of the log, so that, like I said, so that way I can make sure it's a proper circle and I get the dimensions correct. And then what I'm probably going to do is just like build lengthwise, like build out the circle, and then from there start going through and texturing. Now, the thing is, I want this log to look good and look natural. So I'm probably going to do most of it out of normal actual logs, and then mix in some planks and slabs to kind of give it a little bit of texturing, which means this is going to be quite resource heavy, and I most definitely don't have enough logs. So I might have to go get some more before or during the time lapse. But for now, let's go ahead and see if we can't get this mapped out, and then we will jump into a time lapse to actually build it, and of course decorate it up a little bit after. So looking at like this little like chart guide for circles, I'm thinking I like the 13 wide block. So let's, I don't think I have enough space for this, so it might curve off a little bit. And I think I want it to start like around here-ish. So let's use dirt. Actually, let's use dirt for now. Oh. Okay, so I'm gonna use dirt for now. wrong direction. I'm going to use dirt for now to kind of map it out. So according to this chart, you need to have, I'm trying to decide where do I want the center to like be lined up with the path, or do I want the path to kind of like curve? I think we're going to do it here. So let's make this our center block. Is that too far back? No, I think it'll be okay. Okay, so if this is the center block and we go 1, 2, hello, 1, 2. Oh, I'm already getting confused. And then 1, 2. So I'm not, let me have a real talk moment with you guys. Y'all know that I am not the best at like big crazy giant builds. The greenhouse I think is the biggest thing I've ever built. I'm definitely more about like the small details and the decorating, I think, is kind of where I tend to shine. And I'm not really used to organics either. The dandelions are the first type of organic that I've ever built. I've watched a few kind of like tips and tricks on how to build organics videos, but I've never actually like watched a ton of like tutorials or really like how-tos. So bear with me. When it comes to this is probably going to be the first true, I would say, organic of any type, and probably the biggest build that I've built other than the greenhouse, which I don't really count that as a big build just because it was a lot of glass and kind of a simple building shape. So yeah. Let's see how this goes. So if this is our center block, the guide says go over 2 and up 1 and then over 1. I'm not best with circles either. If you guys have seen the hardcore series, you would know that I'm not I'm not good with circles. I tried and it came out kind of like not a circle, but that's okay. So over and over. Alrighty, so I got a little bit more spruce wood and also some dark wood. It's still probably not enough. I fully acknowledge that, but you guys know me. If you've made it this far on the channel, you know me. And if you're new here, well, I am very, very ADHD and very, very easily sidetracked and impatient. So I want to go ahead and start on this build. And if I need to go get more wood, I can go get more. All the saplings are needing to grow anyway. So I'll use what I have for now. And like I said, I think I want to make most of it out of the logs and then go through with any planks or texturing. I grabbed some of the dark oak to see about maybe using that to kind of bring out some of these darker colors on the spruce wood as some of the texturing. But yeah, I fully expect this to have to be redone a few different times. I'm going to start with just the circle and then kind of just like bring the whole like circle back to almost make a tunnel, and then I'll start going through and layering it up and try to give it more of that natural look. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into a time lapse. Alrighty guys, I think I am officially done with our tree, our fallen tree, like little tunnel that's going to connect over to the village. Now, obviously I have not gone through and like finished landscaping to work on like the pathing to come out of the tree tunnel to go over to the village. That's something that I would rather do in a different episode, just because I kind of need to do some terraforming to figure out where I want the village, how do I want the land to look as far as like what level of dirt, and that way I can kind of build the outside of the tree tunnel around that. And I'm thinking about maybe putting a staircase. So like I think that I want to do like a little path on the other side of the tree tunnel, kind of like the pathing that we've done here, to go through it and then maybe lead up to a staircase and then over to the tunnel. So let me show you guys what it all looks like now and kind of what I'm talking about. Also, I went to the zombie spawner and worked up to level 30, and we were lucky enough to be able to get an efficiency for a diamond shovel, and oh my gosh, I wish I'd done it sooner because it made a world of difference when it came to terraforming. So I just kind of brought out the path this direction and kind of dug out a little bit of the area around here. Phoenix had a really cute idea of kind of making the tree like as if it's been grown around. So I did put like a little small mound of dirt here to kind of almost like support the tree trunk. But yeah, let me show you guys. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's still not quite as like overall detailed on the outside as I would have preferred, but I'm not the best with organics yet. But I am practicing in a creative world to try to like teach myself a little bit more about organics. But for my first time trying it, and this was done before I started practicing or really watching any videos or anything, I'm not too mad at it. I think it's really cute. I like how it's decorated up to feel very overgrown, but still decorated, like with all the lights and stuff and the lanterns. I made a little like rotted out spot here with some dark oak to create like a little hole in the side of the trunk, and then you kind of come out on the other side. I dug out this little area to almost kind of give it like this is where it fell and kind of had that impact area. And this is what I was talking about, like I'm thinking about here putting just a little bit, oh sorry for the lag, just a little bit more of like a path here, and then probably terraforming this down a little bit, maybe put a staircase up. So what I'm thinking is if we have a staircase to come up here, since the majority of this land around here is so high up, it would be really difficult, I think, to put the village on that lower level. So let me go into free cam real quick. Kind of thinking about having the staircase here, and since all of this land is so high, maybe have like the pathing kind of come over this way, the staircase, and then we can put some more pathing to kind of curve over, because I initially wanted the village to almost be like perpendicular to the tree trunk. I initially wanted it over here, but I think what I might do is maybe put like a boat dock or something here and kind of lead up. That way the village could kind of be over here, so that the tree trunk would kind of like curve, the path after it would kind of curve over this direction. The majority of the village, but still some of it would come reach this water's edge. Kind of what I'm thinking. But I think it's pretty cute. It still looks a little empty over in this direction. I was thinking about maybe putting some more of the dandelions over here, and then maybe like decorate it up with just some typical pathing or some more bushes and stuff like that. I don't really want to put any structures over here because I really want it to stick to kind of having the main feel of like our base, and then travel a little bit to come over to the village. But see how it's all like the land is all rised up? So I think that's why I just kind of left this as like a wall for now, and that way I can just build a little staircase kind of coming in, and then we can swivel on over to the village. So this is what the tree trunk looks like from the outside. I tried my best to kind of give it some kind of a dimension. I'm not the happiest with how this part turned out. I do really like how this side came out though, with kind of giving it that like rotted feel with the dark oak and all the leaves to have a hole into it. It's not like the prettiest tree trunk from the sides, but I'm not too happy or not too upset with how the rest of it came out with. I still need to work on organics from like the side perspective and giving it more of that like 3D shape instead of so flat, but I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I think it's very cute. And it's a nice little like walkway. So that's kind of what I wanted. I wanted there to be a little bit of a distance, but nothing too crazy. I think it's cute, and I think it'll look really fun once I can figure out for sure what I want to put over here. I was thinking about doing it in this episode and putting the dandelions, but I'm not entirely sure if I want to do just the dandelions, or maybe like the dandelions and another like little picnic spot like we have over there, or what I want to do for sure yet. So with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the absolute world. And if you have enjoyed the content and would like to see how the rest of this world continues to grow, it would mean so much if you guys would consider maybe leaving a like on the video, as well as a subscribe to the channel. And that way you guys can get notified the next time that I post a video. Don't forget, I also have another series going that is another survival series, but is on a hardcore world. And on that series, I am working towards making a really big, beautiful, lush cave base. And that is my main goal for that series. So if you guys would like to check that out, I do have a playlist posted over on the home tab of my channel if you guys would like to see how that series is coming along. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!